Good morning and welcome to Northern Lights Spiritual Center. My name is Reverend Vaughn Amari and I am here with Reverend Michael Amari and with Reverend Pamelagrace Beatty, who is the founding minister of Northern Lights Spiritual Center. Northern Lights Spiritual Center is a community of people dedicated to using spiritual and practical principles to create lives we want to live. Northern Lights Spiritual Center offers practical and spiritual tools to make positive changes in our lives. Our promise: to inspire, uplift, celebrate, and magnify your greatness. We acknowledge our presence here on the traditional and unceded lands of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish and coastal Salish peoples. These people are still here, and we join with them in how they continue to honor and bring to light their ancient heritage. We seek to resist the erasure of Indigenous histories as we work towards honoring and inviting the truth. Similarly, we must acknowledge that much of what we know of this country today, including its culture, economic growth, and development throughout history and across time, has been made possible by the labor of enslaved Africans and their ascendants who suffered the horrors of transatlantic trafficking, chattel slavery, and Jim Crow. We also name the Asian and Chicano people who toiled with little recognition. We are indebted to their labor and their sacrifice, and we must acknowledge the tremors of that violence throughout the generations and the resulting impacts that can still be felt and witnessed today. Please join me for our opening song, In This Very Room, by Ron and Carol Harris. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to walk through our every fear. Your spirit, sweet spirit, is in this very room. In this very room.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
So let us prepare for this morning's meditation by allowing ourselves to get comfortable in our seats, removing everything from our laps, putting our hands in our laps in an open and upright position. And if it serves you, allowing your eyes to close. So let us take 3 deep cleansing breaths in and out together. So let's breathe in and let it go. And let's breathe in again. And let it go. And one more time, in. And letting it go. And as we allow our breath to return to its normal breathing pattern, let us just allow our bodies to relax and release and let go. Allowing our minds to relax, to release, and to let go. And so this morning, let us contemplate this thought. And also let us use it as a mantra in the contemplation. And the thought is that I choose to be open to prosperity. So prosperity is a choice. In this moment and this morning, let us choose to be open to prosperity. I choose to be open to prosperity. And so just repeat that to yourself as your mantra. I choose to be open to prosperity. 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 And so as we come back into this room and come back into this space, we come back to the knowingness that at any time we can choose prosperity. And let us know that right here and right now is the time. This is the place. I choose to be open to prosperity. And so it is. And so this morning's reading comes from my phone, yes. And it's it's very smart. Smarter than me at times.
Oh, well.
And I guess it's a woman that does Jennifer365.com.
Oh.
And the title is, Do You Have These 9 Prosperity Blocks? Yes, here we go. What is prosperity? My definition of prosperity is when you are thriving and flourishing in all aspects of your life. So prosperity is not just financial. So that's key. And there are a lot of quotes in here that I'm not going to be reading. But if you guys are interested in the full article, Reverend Michael can send it out. Okay, so here we go. Are you experiencing peace, health, happiness, and plenty? Because your thinking is creating your reality in all those areas of your life, I want to share 9 questions about your thinking that relates to your prosperity. Now, don't feel bad if these questions shine a light on the fact that your thinking has been anything but prosperous. That's okay. Start where you are. It's all good. What you have in your life today is the result of past thinking. It doesn't have to be a part of your future if you change your thinking today. So that's key. Okay? So regardless of what happened before this moment, you can change it. Okay? Guys with me still?
Yep.
Okay. If you change your thinking today, you will also be changing the vibration you are offering. And when you do that, law of attraction responds. You can and will create a new reality, a more prosperous reality. Here are the 9 questions to know if you have a prosperous state of mind that is a magnet for all good things. 1, are you focused on lack? Another way to ask this would be, are you more focused on what you don't have rather than what you do have? Good question. Be honest with yourself. Focusing on lack can come in many different shapes and sizes, and you may not even realize that you have a lack-based mindset because it's so second nature. You might tell me you're thinking about what you want, but your thoughts are really about the absence of what you want to manifest. The bottom line is when you have a lack-based mindset, you disallow what you want because it's this single prosperous thinking is not lackful thinking. Are you activating lack or are you activating abundance with your thoughts and feelings? Okay, number 2. Are you impatient and demanding about what you want? Often, I'll work with a client who is not enjoying the unfolding of her manifestation. And because she's not enjoying the unfolding, the manifestation is taking its sweet time. Are you fixated on what you want and why it hasn't been yet manifested? Where is it? When is it coming? Why isn't it here yet? Being impatient with the universe about delivering what you desire is counter to prosperous thinking. When you're impatient and demanding, you're not in a receiving mode, which means you're cutting yourself off from the very thing you want. Think about how amazing and wonderful it is that you can, right now, match up to the feeling of your desired manifestation. Meaning, you can feel now how you'll feel when you achieve the goal, acquire the shiny penny, have the experience. That feeling is available to you right now, so there's no need to be impatient or demanding. When you align with what you want to feel, you pave the way for all kinds of prosperity. Number 3, are you worried about what you want won't come? So are you worried about what you want won't come? Okay, worry. Worry is not an emotion of prosperity. You can feel that, right? When you are worried and what you want won't manifest, the raise, the promotion, the partner, the wellness, you cannot attract prosperity. Worry repels the very thing you want. Usually doubt and uncertainty are beneath the surface of worry. You doubt your ability to manifest, or you doubt the universe is able to deliver. You are uncertain in your belief about manifesting what you want. When you believe the universe is friendly and rich and dare to accept, you shift out of worry mode and into receiving mode.
You're on mute.
I'm on mute?
Well, Well, see, it went out and came back.
Okay, can you guys hear me? If you, I can't see anybody. Wave your hand if you can hear me. Thank you. Okay. Oh, you're back. Hi, Victor. Number 4, do you feel deserving of what you want? This is a big one when it comes to prosperous thinking, because for what you want to manifest, there can't be friction in your vibration about the concept of deserving. Many of us place conditions on our deservedness.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be deserving when I lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be deserving when I declutter my house. I'll be deserving when I help more people. Don't buy into the notion of prerequisites for deserving. You are deserving just because you are here, and just because you have a desire. That's all it takes to make you deserving. Your deservedness is not conditional. And the longer you think that way, the longer you disconnect yourself from the power of prosperous thinking. Number 5, do you appreciate what you already have? Appreciation is your superpower in so many ways. And specifically, when it comes to prosperous thinking, appreciation is absolutely key. Because when you take for granted what you already have, it creates friction in your ability to receive more. How are you appreciating what you already have? Are you noticing all the abundance you already have in your life? Are you having a feeling response to the abundance that is already yours? You know something, it dawns on me. I have clean water. Every day, every single day, I can turn on my tap and drink clean water. And yet many days go by and I am not in appreciation mode for my clean water. No, I've raised the bar on what warrants appreciation. Do you do that? You glance past and overlook all that you could appreciate because you've raised the bar. If you get the promotion with more money, well, that is something to appreciate. But the smile and friendly service this morning at Starbucks when you got your coffee, nah, no appreciation there. Or sure, I appreciate the 3 new clients I started working with this week, but my existing clients, well, they're just part of the backdrop now. By the way, existing clients, this is not all true. I appreciate each and every one of you. My point is this. We so often look past what we already have in our desire for more. Well, prosperous thinking is about being appreciative. It's time to take your appreciation practice up a notch for the receiving of wonderful things. Number 6, are you vibrating abundance or shortage? Ooh. Just as the solution is a different vibration than the problem, the same is true for abundance and poverty, or wellness and sickness. In other words, what is wanted is a different vibration than what is unwanted. Too often, we want something, good health, abundance, a loving relationship, but the vibration we are offering is the opposite. We are vibrating illness, scarcity, and loneliness. I like when Abraham says, you have to feel the way you want to live. Because if you feel the way you want to live, meaning if you feel now the good feelings of prosperity in all its various forms, that is what you will attract, what you want to you. It really comes down to this. How are you offering the vibration now of the prosperity you want? Because when you do that, when you do that, prosperity will show up in your reality. Number 7, do you have negative beliefs about money? You might be tempted to answer no right away because you don't believe money makes you greedy or a bad person. But I often hear limiting beliefs like these about money. More money, more problems. Money is hard to come by. Too much money changes people. Now, those beliefs might not equate to money is bad, but they are creating friction in your vibration that gets in the way of prosperity. Believing money is hard to come by is not prosperous thinking. Believing when you have more money, you have more problems, this is also not prosperous thinking. Again, prosperity is about more than just money, but it is in part about your financial life. Get right with your beliefs about money. And by right, I mean make sure that what you believe about money, the thoughts you practice in your head about money, really do serve you. Number 8, we're almost there. Are you holding on to a grudge, or do you have a resentment? Grudges and resentment can get in the way of prosperity thinking. When you're holding on to a grudge or have a resentment, you feel negative emotion, and that means you're miscreating. You may believe your grudge is well-founded and that you have every right to your resentment. Sure you do. But here's the thing. When you hold on to the past result, insult, or injury, it creates something in your vibration that prevents you from attracting what you want into your life. The grudge hurts you, not the other person. Letting go of grudges and resentment is how you raise your vibration. I'm not an expert on forgiveness, but everything I've ever read says you forgive for yourself. You forgive for your peace, your serenity. Because refusing to forgive holds you in a vibrational pattern of negative emotion, and that, of course, is counter to prosperous thinking. Number 9, do you often talk about how expensive things are or say, I can't afford it? Words are powerful. They are creative. If you say and think, I can't afford it, then that is the reality that will show up for you. So choose your words with care. Be intentional with your thoughts. That's how you create the reality you want. Start noticing how you think and talk about money. Does the way you think and talk about money make you feel good or make you feel bad? If the second one is true for you, that's something to work on if you want the power of prosperous thinking. Let's recap the 9 questions about prosperous thinking. Number 1, are you focused on lack? Number 2, are you impatient and demanding about what you want? Number 3, are you worried about what you want won't come? Number 4, do you feel deserving of what you want? Number 5, do you appreciate what you already have? Number 6, are you vibrating abundance or shortage? Number 7, do you have negative beliefs about money? Number 8, are you holding on to a grudge or do you have a resentment? Number 9, do you often talk about how expensive things are or say I can't afford it? It's likely at least one of these questions, along with your answers, presents an opportunity. Remember, prosperity in all its forms begins with your thinking. Use the 9 questions to shine a light on where a change in your thinking will allow you to be the kind of magnet you really want to be. And so it is.
Good.
So busy with my note keeping that I.
And I was jumping to the other song.
So for this month's song, it's a chant. My world is a place of abundance, so much for my eyes to see, so much to taste, so much to hear, so much for me to be. My world is so much, so much. My world is so much, my world is so much, so much. My world is so much. And the words, the content of like my world we're going to change it to our heart, and then we're going to change it to minds, and then we're going to come to life. So pay attention or just sing along and no one's going to criticize you. My world is a place of abundance, so much for my eyes to see, so much to taste, so much to hear, so much for me to be. My world is so much, so much. My world is so much. My world is so much, so much. My world is so much. Now your heart. Your heart is a place of abundance, so much for your eyes to see, so much to taste, so much to feel, so much for you to be. Your heart is so much, so much. Your heart is so much. Your heart is so much, so much. Your heart is so much. Our minds are a place of abundance, so much for our eyes to see, so much to taste, so much to hear, so much for us to be. Our minds are so much, so much. Our minds are so much. Our minds are so much, so much. Our minds are so much. Now my life. My life is a place of abundance, so much for my eyes to see, so much to taste, so much to hear, so much for me to be. My life is so much, so much. My life is so much. My life is so much, so much. My life is so much, so much.
Running around fixing this and that, giving up to gardening and taking it back. Just release and let it go. You don't even have to think about it no more. Get out of the way, 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 get out the way, and let God do His thing. You look like the weight of the world's on your back.
Susie, I'm just making that name up. You'll love it. She's like you. Blah, 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 blah. They don't have any issues or problems like all of the other agencies I sent you to.
Yeah.
There's a hint there. All of the other agencies had issues and problems, but this one doesn't have any. They're all happy. Yeah. So I looked at the drain pipe that was still bending over the window and listened to the furnace still. And I said, okay, I'll do it. And I thought it's a short amount of time. I've been waiting for this answer from the universe for several months. So I said yes. And of course,
They had issues.
they have their challenges. Of course they do. And there have been times when I felt they wanted me to spin straw into gold, you know, the old And I was like, how do I do that? The job market is this, and there was the usual stuff I ran into in some form or another, and all of the other places where I was a contractor. They pretty much don't hire me unless they've got issues.
Right.
If everything is going well, why would they need me? So I said, okay, Pamela, build a bridge, get over it. So I decided with this job that I was going to have a new attitude, which was a challenge. However, I did, because I've been recruiting since I was 23, off and on. Not all the time. Just, okay, Pamela, why don't you go hire the flight attendants for a little while? Okay, Pamela, let's see. So-and-so quit. So you go over there and sit in her job and do your job and her job for a while until we get a new recruiter, and so on and so on and so on. So I've been doing this a really long time. So I have a lot of knowledge and skills, thank you very much, and background information that frequently people have not paid for me to give them. They're like, we don't care what 27 other companies do it. This is the way we do it. But I decided that this job is going to pay for my little broken drain thingy, which I discovered isn't all that much after all. I mean, it's not as much as I thought it was going to be. The furnace is still as much as I thought it was, but it's still turning on. 5 years ago, somebody told me it would only last a week.
Oh.
Ha ha ha.
Oh, so you have the same furnace?
Hmm?
You have the same furnace?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
5 years ago.
It's coughing, but it's still heating the house up.
Okay.
I'll get it replaced, but I don't have to do it today. So, new attitude. And here's the other thing about that new attitude. So when I woke up and saw the drain pipe, half of it down on the ground, again, when I woke up and looked at this same pipe, I thought, there's always going to be some kind of drain pipe falling off the roof in our lives. So even though I have this new position, and it's going to pay for the drain pipe and the furnace and some other things, there's always going to be some other things. So I said, what I need is not so much to always be getting a new job. What I need is a new attitude. You know that song, I got a new attitude? I love that song. Some of you don't know that. That was in the 70s. And I said, I just need to know. And it's embedded in that list that Stephanie read. I just need to know. I'll put it in my language. God's got my back. One of the things I like about the spiritual community is I can say the G word. And I know that sometimes it still bothers people, but hey, whatever. You can call God whatever you want to call it. The great ground of being, or the super intelligence, whatever it is, we all know. And the scientists are proving it, that there's someone out there that's bigger than all of us and seems to be controlling things. And if we plug into it, we can create what we want. But we have to plug into it. But that's another talk. So, new attitude. I love this. I heard on NPR 2 or 3 days ago, they were talking about the reticular activating system. I'm seeing heads nod. I'm glad to see those heads nod. And in simple terms, is what you see is what you get. Or what you get is what you see. However you want to put it that way. I had in ministerial school, we had 3 classes on quantum physics offered to us. I took all 3 because the first class I was like, what? What? Well, I don't get Schrodinger's box. Yes, and the cat. Yes, You can look it up if you can spell Schrodinger.
Yeah.
Didn't get it first class. I said, I'm supposed to get this, but I'm not getting it. Second class, I was like, oh. And to make it short, it's like you put a cat in the box and there's a little vial of poison on one end. This is pre-PETA where they said you can't do this to cats. And there's a vial of poison on the end, and maybe there's something else on the other end that's healthy and you could eat it. And as far as you know, the cat's either alive or it's dead. You won't know until you open the box. Now, what that has to do with us, well, that was part of their experimentation with little teeny tiny, smaller than atom things, quarks and whatevers and neutrons. And see, you can tell how interested I was in the details. The point was that when we see it, we impact it. And that was particular with those neurons and neutrons and whatever, that they were doing all kinds of things, but when the scientists looked at them, then they lined up into something they could see. And they said, that's us. Now, to bring it in more simple terms for us, if you decide you want to buy a red Corvette, and this is the truth, when I decided I wanted to buy a little red sports car, literally all I saw was little red sports cars on the freeway. I didn't see green sports cars, blue sports cars, black ones, yellow. I saw red ones. Suddenly, the California freeways were filled with little red sports cars. And when I drove up, I forget what street, I think it was Broadway, I noticed all of the car sales places that sold sports cars. I had never noticed them when I'd driven up Broadway a billion times. I noticed there was something selling something probably to do with cars, but I never noticed the sports cars until I wanted a little red sports car. The reticular activating system. You think I want a hamburger, all you're going to see is hamburger places from here to West Virginia. So what's that got to do with it? What we see is what we got. So back to money. Stephanie just gave you a little peep at what all of the ways we can look at money. And the question becomes, how are you looking at money? What is it that we have brought forward from, we'll start with our childhood. What is it that we brought forward about money? I remember the days when people didn't want to be part of the institution. What was it?
The system.
The what?
System.
The system. Didn't want to be part of the system. Didn't want to be like those money mongers in the capitalistic system and all they think about is things. Now, I have no idea when I was kind of buying into that, what system I thought I'd be in if I wasn't a part of the system. You know, what was I going to, how was I going to eat? How was I going to pay my rent? How was I going to get my teeth cleaned if I wasn't part of some kind of system that supported that? And when I went out and got my first job, one of my friends wrote me a letter and said she was very disappointed in me because I had joined the system. I had, and she didn't even say join. She said something like, you know, you
Bought into it.
Yeah, you bought into it, you defected to it. It was a bad thing that I was now in the system where you made money, 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 money. Money. Oh my God, you're making money. Ooh. Well, I wasn't even making that much money. That's what the real, I was a flight attendant. We made $350 a month in New York, okay?
Oh my goodness.
There was never a time in New York where $350 was enough.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the base salary was $350.
Good
We were
Lord.
4 of us in a 1-bedroom. We were hungry. We ate on the airplanes.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. They say join us to see the world. You will, but you'll be hungry. Kept me slim. Was a wonderful thing.
Oh, wow.
So, our thoughts about money. Now, so we can find the low-hanging fruit, right? I love it. You know, it's easy that, oh yeah, well, you know, Mom said we never had enough money for this or that or the other, so. But what we're not looking at is how that impacted us or impacts us. What are we carrying forward that's a little less obvious to us? So here are 2 less obvious same examples. I was doing a practitioner session for someone, and he wanted a place to live, and he says, I'm not asking for much. I don't want a mansion, and I don't need to live on the Riviera. I just want a, you know, a little room in somebody's house. That's all I want. And his thought was, God will hear that I don't want very much. And because it's not very much, God will give it to me. I was like, oh man. There's an old saying, it's English. In for a penny, in for a pound. Yes. So a penny a pound is the English pound, not pound cake. So in other words, spirit, the universe, the creative power that puts it all out there for us, doesn't care if it's a penny or a pound. Doesn't care if it's a little room or a mansion on the Riviera. Doesn't care. It can do it all. It can do it all. There are no limitations. We put them in there. We live in a field of infinite possibilities. Infinite potential. We have all kinds of decisions. All kinds of... Did anybody see the movie The Secret? Anybody see the movie? They were showing all of these examples. The ball could have gone this way, that way, up, down. All of these different possibilities. We live in it. And we think we only need this much. Another plain, simple description is like here in the state of Washington, we have the delicious apple, the red delicious apple, and it is delicious. It has this dark red skin, and you bite into it, and it's crisp and sweet with a little tang of not so sweet, so it's not like sugary. There are, however, 50 billion other kinds of apples. There's the Granny Smith apple. There's the, I don't even know the other titles because the Granny Smith is my other favorite. Excuse me. There's the apple that's a cross between a pear and an apple that comes from Asia, Japan, I believe. Oh my God, that's a good apple. And so on and so on. But if when we grew up at Grandma's farm, the only thing we knew, because Grandma had those red crisp apples, that's the only apple we ever had. When someone says, well, here, try a Granny Smith apple, we say, oh, no, that's not what I was raised with. Well, here, try this Fuji apple. Oh, no, what is that? That's not even red. I'm not going to eat that. And so on and so on. So we take a look at infinite potential and we say, no, because this is how it was done when I grew up. And this is how I think it'll be. And this is the kind of mindset we may carry around money. No, I only need a little bit, or I can only get a little bit, or there isn't enough, or how dare I want more. I told you there were 2 stories. So there was the man who only wanted a little room. And I was talking to one person who owns all this stuff. She has several houses and she has rental property and she has multiple cars and a huge swimming pool in her backyard and so on and so on and so on. Lovely, lovely digs. She doesn't live here in Washington. And then the other friend who also doesn't live here in Washington was saying, well, you know, I really don't want all of that. I'm happy to have a 1-bedroom condominium. Who needs all of that? And we had just been talking about billionaires and how much is enough. And I have to admit, I have that same question. How many billions do you need?
Really?
You know?
You can't drink
But-
the water.
So one of my friends was saying, that's all right, I'll live like this. Now, she wasn't like the guy who was living like this. But she was saying, but I can just live like this. This is good. And my other friend was saying, hey, if I can live like this, and this, why not?
That's right.
And I told her, I said, I like your attitude. I don't necessarily really want to own lots of different property, but I do, and here's the key. This is the secret. Money's only paper. What we're really going for is a way of life. And I mentioned NPR, and then I got off the topic, but now I'm back. NPR was saying that after a certain level, which they said or was around $50,000, and I think it depends on where you live, but they said that once people were making around, you know, what they needed to get what they needed, not what they wanted, like living on the Riviera, that those people were as happy as those people who could afford to live on the Riviera. And I've read that before and heard that before over the years. And if we think about it, the money doesn't actually buy the happiness for very long. Yes, you're like, oh man, look at this house up on the Riviera. That's Monday. By Wednesday, it's like, yeah, we live on the Riviera.
But we don't have a boat.
But we don't have a boat. And Vaughn lives on the Riviera, but he has a boat. And Vaughn and Michael go flying off all over the place, and we only go fly. So you know what? It just, I do wonder how many billions it takes to be happy. I have the feeling it doesn't take billions to be happy. So it's about that new attitude, and what is it that you're going for with the money? What is it that you're going for? Not the money itself. And as was mentioned in Stephanie's 9, that worthiness thing comes up all the time. I find that that's frequently the underlying quicksand in how we feel about money. Deep, deep, deep down, I'm not worthy of this money. And the billionaires could be feeling the same way, which is why they have to have more billions, because somehow they're going to buy worthiness. Yeah, well, it doesn't work that way. You can ask some previous president or two. Just saying. And as Stephanie mentioned in her list of 9, there is something to do with the vibration. What are we vibrating? And how we are attracting. So if we look into our lives and it's a mess, don't count my little problem jobs. We're attracting that. Now, if I want to actually count my problem jobs, here's how I would count it. I attract problem jobs because I'm a problem solver. How about them apples?
Yep.
But it's true, I am. I love problem solving. And frankly, if I got into a job where it was status quo, when there was nothing to do but just transactional blah, 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 I'd be bored to tears. I like getting my hands on it and figuring out how I can work it and make it work for all concerned. And so in that job, I said to the universe, the creative intelligence, whatever, I said, show me where I can make a difference while I'm doing this transactional stuff, and I'll be there. And so that's what it's done. It's saying, okay, here's an opportunity where you could make a difference. I'm like, okay, here's an opportunity. Okay. And it's made it very interesting. And I feel like I'm earning my pay. Oh, that's another one. You know, we have to like earn our way. And we don't trust that we are earning our way, that we are making a difference. We are earning our way, and we do get to have the prosperity we want. So what we're doing here, and Stephanie mentioned it, it isn't just about the green. Money, 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 money. It's not just about that. It's what it brings. It's what we can do with it. It's how we can use it. It's how we can give back and support other people's dreams. It's all good. So, infinite field of possibilities. So, one last thing on that job. So I told the universe I didn't want to work. I said, why do I have to work just to fix the pipe? Why can't I just meditate and levitate the pipe back up to the place it was? Yeah, no. Not that good a shaman at this point. It did dawn on me all along, though, that there were other ways of solving my problem. It could be a refinance or a loan or a, I don't know. There were just other means to do this. I could restart my own company again, doing the work I love. Ooh, now there's a thought. I'm working on that one. So we get stuck in only one way. Grandma's red apple. That's the only apple to eat. No, it's not. Infinite possibilities. Remember that if you don't remember anything else. Infinite possibilities. Okay? You nod. Yes. Okay. So, in for a penny, in for a pound. Spirit can do the heavy lifting. We can close ourselves off to our good, or we can open up to it, knowing that it's there if we can just wipe the sleep out of our eyes and see it. And at the very least, we can be willing to be open. So although I told the universe I don't want to do a day job, and the universe says, look, pumpkin, try a day job. I said, okay, but I'm going to do it differently. And I have been doing it differently, and actually doing all right with doing it differently, because in the back of my mind I keep saying, and if you don't like it, you can fire me. I'll figure out something else, because I'm in a world of infinite possibilities. And you are only one channel. And by the way, a little cliff note. It is always dangerous to assume that when you get your good, that where you're getting your good from is the source of your good. Because it's not. It's the vehicle of your good. The source of your good is this creative intelligence that creates all. And it shows up, through people and various other things. So don't get stuck on, no more job. I'm toast. Because you're not. There's other opportunities. So, we have access to the power that creates everything. We open ourselves up to it. We can just set an intention. Yes, you can meditate every day from 7 to 7:30 or 6 to 6:30 or 6 to 5 or whatever you want to do. And you can just open yourself up and say, okay, show me. I'm willing. And so it is. Oh,
Did you want me? I think she wants me. Hey, Mimi. Thank you, Reverend Pamela. So I'm going to close the talk off with a prayer. Woo. Okay, so let's breathe in. Whew, and just allow ourselves to just settle in. And just being in this place where God is. And in this place of knowing that we are one with His power, one with His presence. And in knowing this, we know that God has our back, that God is doing the heavy lifting, and we can just let go. They say let go and let flow. Just allow God to do what God does. And just expect and accept the infinite possibilities, the infinite ways in which God shows up in our lives. We today have a new attitude, an attitude of acceptance, an attitude of prosperity, an attitude of being open, an attitude of knowing that we are deserving. We are the ones. And we see the infinite possibilities. We open to the infinite possibilities and we accept the infinite possibilities and we reap all the benefits. This life is a good life and we are blessed in it. So let us accept this, let us be it, and let us know that it's already done. Let's do a fist bump to God. Because God is doing a fist bump with us. And accept all the good. And so for this, I give thanks. I give thanks. I give thanks. As I release this word to the perfect acts of the law, I simply let it go and I let it be. And I seal this by saying, Ashe.
Ashe.
Amen.
Amen.
And so it is.
And so it is.